Hello, I wanted to share with you today a system I just installed in my house. I recently went to California and I was drinking out of springs in Yosemite, and when I came back to Columbus, Ohio, wasn't real happy with the quality of the tap water. Got a little spoiled. So I bought this guy, just installed it. It's still under construction. I still have to tweak it a little bit, but just wanted to document the process because this is stage one. It came with a 3-gallon reservoir, which is currently just sitting on a cinder block. I will probably mount that a little higher on the wall just because the system uses pressure and the faucet is attached to my kitchen sink. So it's going up a whole story. The pressure's all right. It may be fine. It just takes a little while to fill a whole gallon up. But basically we have a 3-gallon reservoir. This is a 9-stage reverse osmosis water filtration system. You have the sediment is the first one, catches any big things that might be in the water system. Pre-carbon, post-carbon, and then this is your RO membrane. Then different post-carbon. So that's 5 filters, and then this particular system has the very top cylinder reintroduces calcium, magnesium, potassium, and electrolytes back into the water, because this does a great job of filtering the water, but it also takes some of the beneficial things out of the water. And so it reintroduces that, as well as changes the alkalinity of the water. You can see that the pH of mine is around 9 according to this guide. Tap water is about 7 and bottled water is about 6. So one thing I was really torn about purchasing a reverse osmosis system is that the wastewater seems to be a problem. I can't get an accurate number. All systems are probably different, but some people claim as much as 98% of the water can be wasted, and it kind of depends on the back pressure of the system. But a pretty good standard, I think, is 1 to 4. So if you pour yourself 1 gallon of water from your faucet, you're going to dump 4 gallons. And water is not necessarily cheap, especially if you have a garden, and like I have a pond and a garden, and I try to recoup as much rainwater as I can, but at the same time I really don't want to be dumping thousands of gallons of water a year. So I came up with this idea, and I haven't seen anybody else do this on the internet yet, so I figured I would document it. Again, this is under construction still. I haven't finalized. I need to clean it up a little bit, but basically the drain that the manufacturer would have you hook into your P-trap underneath your sink, or where your laundry drains in your basement, it would all get dumped down the drain. And this water does have fluoride and chlorine. Depending on where you live, it is going to have higher levels. It's not potable water, but I would say it's definitely suitable to clean with. And I've watched other people on the internet try to fill 5-gallon buckets and half-gallon containers, and that's good, but you're not recouping nearly as much water as what you're using and what's going down the drain. So my solution was to run this drain line up into my floor joist, very crudely at this point, and then right into my washer. And I just installed this a few days ago, so I'm still working on it. And initially, when you set the system up, you have to purge it. There's going to be a little bit of the carbon comes through, and you just don't use the first 3 gallons of your reservoir. So it takes about 2 hours to make your first 2 gallons, and then you have to dump it. So I dumped it, and then I refilled the reservoir. I think it took about 4 hours. And so the drain just drips right into my washer. I'm going to get a bigger hose. This is just what I'm working with right now. But a couple trips to the hardware store and it's going to get real interesting. But just filling up my reservoir, which again is it's 3 gallons, and I filled it up twice. That filled my washer up. And as you can see, this washer is pretty old. It came with the house when I purchased it, and it still works fine, so I'm using it, but I don't think it's that efficient. And I believe these older ones probably have a capacity of about 45 gallons. So essentially I made 6 gallons of pure RO water, and I recouped 45 gallons of water. So that's about the efficiency of the kit that I just purchased. And this is a fairly reasonable kit. I just got it off eBay. It was like $175. I think it does 50 gallons per day. And again, it's a 9-stage system. One other thing that I was thinking about doing, once I get more hose and some shutoffs and stuff like that, I can divert this water anywhere I want. My initial plan was to possibly have it go up into my toilet, but I fear that that could overflow the toilet if I'm using a lot of water that day, because toilets obviously have automatic shutoffs, but this won't, and you'd have to monitor it. But another thing I am definitely going to do is tee off somewhere. I'll probably hard plumb this or put it inside some PVC pipe or something like that, so it's a little more solid. And right on the other side of this wall is my garden, and I have a lot of flowers out there, and I think this water is perfectly suitable to water flowers, and I wouldn't necessarily water plants that I'm going to eat the fruit from, but I think flowers are sufficient. And yeah, so that's 2 ways that I'm recouping the water from this RO system. And like I said, I hadn't really seen anybody fill their washer up with this. And I think as long as you do like at least 1 load a week, the water still is, it's not going to age and get funky, I don't think. Again, I'm kind of new to this whole thing, so I don't know, but so far so good. It's actually been about a week, and I've done about 3 loads of laundry, I think. I live alone, so I don't really have tons of laundry, but it's giving me an excuse to do more. Yeah, so that's about it. I will keep you updated, because I may have a couple more weird ideas what to do with all that spent water. I'm still in the beginning phases of figuring the system out, but I thought it was a pretty cool idea. And like I said, I didn't see anybody else hooking it up to the washer. And I think since the washer does go through a rinse cycle after the initial wash cycle, I think a lot of those contaminants just get rinsed away. And that water is still fairly clean water. But anyways, hope you like the idea, and I welcome your comments. Thanks a lot.